let's talk about AI regulation, Pat. So, what, 8 days? You and I last Sunday night, 8 days before we're getting kind of a brief overview on what's going on. The Biden administration decides to push forward on some rules to basically further limit the exporting of AI chips. Now, again, this is rules on top of existing rules, and the rules on top of the existing rules that were designed for really calling what's now not much more advanced than what's going into some advanced GPUs for gaming are now being kind of put on these restricted lists. And let me be upfront about this. We have a real sort of difficult needle to thread because China is getting access to our most advanced semis. They always have, they always will. And there's a lot of sort of muckety muck about how does that continue to happen. You get all these export controls and, oh, it's shipping through Singapore. Well, how does that happen? Like TSMC is shipping things to China. They don't even know. People are tearing apart boards and finding hardware inside of equipment that's not supposed to be able to get there. So that's kind of at the core of why this goat rodeo that is import and export controls is such a big thing with AI chips. To be clear, AI chips are going to be the foundation in which the world's economic growth and basically security is going to be built on. The winner of AI will be the winner of the economy. The winner of AI will be the winner of national defense. So, but now the thing is, unlike these really restrictive rules about China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and other, adversarial nations, we've expanded that with these new rules that basically make it very difficult for companies in Switzerland, yes, companies in Iceland, companies in places that we would typically consider to be neutral or friendly. You can't be more neutral than Switzerland, can you, Pat? And basically making it very difficult for them to purchase and to implement next generation AI technologies. I mean, NVIDIA, of course, one of the biggest and most outspoken on this particular one. It's 120 days from now, supposed to go into effect. Pat, I think we could talk a lot about what's in this rule. I want to use my little bit of time that I have left before passing it to you to just say, I genuinely believe this was nothing but day, 11th hour grandstanding by the Biden administration. Not even sure President Joe Biden's lucid enough to know what he signed into law at this point. I think that the idea is not on his administration's watch. So meaning that if China does over the next 4 years move quicker, we're seeing what they're able to do in frontier models. We've seen at least rumors. Again, nothing is ever confirmed as to how things work there, but the stories that have come out about their most advanced frontier models being trained on older chips, being competitive with our newest frontier models, probably worried some people. But I think Biden does not want the world to ultimately walk away thinking that his presidency and his policies enabled China, North Korea, or other adversarial countries in the world to gain or become on parity with us in any way around AI. In the process, though, he's putting business at risk. He's putting our largest enterprises at risk. There's a better way to approach this. It's something we could probably talk about at another time. I think Trump will reverse this or most of this because it's just not, I feel like it's a blunt instrument being deployed to solve a problem that requires a scalpel. And we can spend more time, Pat, maybe sometime on how we could actually address the need for these things. But I'll pass that back to you.
Yeah, so first of all, a hat tip to our amazing producers. I don't know if any of you read history, but ex-presidents leaving the new incoming president an envelope goes back to 1993 with George Bush and Clinton, and then we saw it in 2001, Bill Clinton to George W., and then George W. to Barack, and then Barack to Donald Trump, and then even Trump left a note in 2021 to Biden. So, this is a love note that Biden is leaving Trump. And with that said, thank you, production team.
Nice job, production team. Production team's getting a bonus. They're going to get a quarter zip 6'5" media shirt.
Exactly. Exactly. But here's the thing. Here are the facts. The facts are there are a certain set of regulations that is keeping China, Russia, North Korea, and others from gaining access to technology that they could use to hurt the United States and others. And here, the second fact is that China is getting around it. And there are countries and people who are helping it. I mean, years ago, when this first BIS thing came out, I said, hey, look at the size of an A series, right? Look at the size of a graphics card, right? You can smuggle those in your luggage if you wanted to. I mean, my gosh, look at how arms get over to the Middle East. I mean, it's just like, this is really, really hard. So I think the intentions are good here. And I personally agree that we need to do more to get, this is essentially the modern day nuclear weapons capability and centrifuges. But I just have to question, again, I think you had a great analogy, a scalpel versus blunt instrument here. I mean, listen, we can't even, the BIS couldn't even get the link at the bottom of their website to work. Okay. And this is going to be the traffic cop to authorize all of this. Okay. That is an absolute freaking disaster. Okay. And like, I don't know who puts this stuff together, because you might get ahead of this and say, we are staffing up. We're going to give a 48-hour turnaround. Because Daniel, we're in this age where trust in institutions is an all-time low, right? Whether it's the press, whether it's the government, and this needed to come out. So I also think the industry should work together to make this, to come up with some suggestions on the best way to do this. In our conversation with NVIDIA, they had some interesting suggestions, right? But I think this is getting very serious now. Maybe the other way to look at it, and Dan, I know we're looking at remapping our show, maybe we have a segment where we play both sides of something. But
I kind of did that. I think I kind of was trying to explain.
Yeah.
We tried.
We've other sided this because this thing is nuanced. But yeah, let's have the industry.
You don't want to be the president that basically allowed. It's like allowing nuclear technology in the past era. I mean, effectively. There is kind of the legacy here. Like, I was the president that enabled North Korea and China to become AI global leaders because we basically gave our best IP away. And we also know what China does when it gets access.
Politics. Yeah.
When China gets access to our IP, they build their own and they tend to do a pretty good job of it. So, they may not be able to create, but they're certainly able to copy very effectively, and have done so. What was the old joke I heard? How many, when you talk to a certain CEO about VMware, he said something along the lines of, how many copies of VMware they have in China?
Yeah.
How many licenses?
Like one.
One.
Yeah. That's fun. Hey, the final comment I want to make is in the other sideism here is, like we saw with Huawei and where, Defense Department saying, hey, they've got back doors. We need to get Huawei out of all Western technology, including their phones and their infrastructure. People are asking, okay, show me the evidence. Like, does Portugal want it aired out, right? That they were the country that let all this stuff go through. And by the way, there are countries that are setting up data centers that are way beyond the capacity of the EU, of any customer coming in. And you have a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East as well. Who's going to soak up all of those? So anyways, this is a nuanced discussion. It's not black and white. What is black and white is that China is skirting regulations and people are helping them. And the third is that anything tied to the government has a level of bureaucracy and time that will slow down commerce. This will slow down commerce based on everything I understand about it, and prove me wrong, everybody out there, if I'm wrong on that.